A lot of men think attraction is something you cause. Like it's a microwave. Press buttons, wait 30 seconds, receive girlfriend. And when it doesn't work, they just mash the buttons harder. More talking, more explaining, more being themselves. Congratulations, you've just emotionally PowerPoint presented yourself out of attraction. The men women can't figure out. They're not smoother, they're not louder either. They're not running verbal game. They're calm, slightly amused, and dangerously comfortable doing absolutely nothing. Let's start the podcast, brothers. This one is inspired by a little PDF I found years ago called ZenGasms. And oh, it's exactly as it sounds. Zen, like Zen master, right? An orgasm. Yeah, I know. A little interesting. But let's start. You guys are listening to the Masculinized Show, a podcast for introverts to become more masculine and get the body of an alpha male. And of course, get more mentally healthy and get that seducer's mindset, if you get me. And lastly, I help guys become more desirable and get the mindset of a seducer. Let's get into the podcast. The core flip. Oh yeah, brothers. As I said already, this episode is inspired by a little weird document called ZenGasms. And no, it's not really a dating guide per se. It's not PUA tactics either, okay? It's not a million gambits. No. Not like The Game by Neil Strauss. No. It's definitely written for men who need step-by-step instructions, like IKEA furniture. ZenGasms is basically a polite way of saying, stop flailing, you're ruining the moment. You know what I mean by that? Well, let's go. Anyways, here's the core idea behind ZenGasms, okay? The instant most men feel chemistry, they panic. Their brain goes, okay, do something before this disappears. So they talk more, they explain more, they escalate like they're afraid the window is closing. And congrats, it closes. Because they slammed it shut themselves. ZenGasms flips this completely. It says attraction isn't created by action. It's created by containment. Translation: the tension you're trying to get rid of is the only thing working in your favor. Every time you rush to resolve the moment, what you're actually communicating is this. I'm uncomfortable holding this, as I say that in quotes, okay? That's kind of wild, if you know what I mean, right? Because discomfort, tolerance, is basically the foundation of masculine polarity. When a man is calm, grounded, and internally charged, not performing, not chasing, not seeking anyone's reaction, not making something happen, her nervous system starts doing something a little bit interesting, right? It looks around, it can't find the cause, and it goes, well, it must be him, right? That's ZenGasm's idea in plain English. You don't seduce by pushing forward, even though some people do talk about push-pull. No. You seduce by staying put while holding more tension than most men can tolerate without reaching for relief. Most advice teaches expression. ZenGasms teaches restraint. Most men want closure. ZenGasms says if you're in a hurry to finish, the moment you already lost that chance. High-level attraction doesn't come from confidence, theater. It comes from a man who can feel desire and not treat it like a problem to solve. Okay? Essentially, ZenGasms gives you more present to the moment, slightly amused. It's time to cover the pull-up incident. Yes, this is the best example of what I'm going to demonstrate right now, okay? To show you. Because remember, you guys, check this out. Remember these 3 words: show, don't tell, okay? And here is the example. This is me absolutely roasting my younger self, to be real with you. But, anyways, when I worked at Anytime Fitness, I went on a date nearby, okay? It was a pretty solid date, I'm not gonna lie. We had good chemistry. Everything was moving exactly where you'd expect it to move. And instead of just letting that be enough, I did what every other over-functioning man does when he feels tension. I added logistics. I'm like thinking in the back of my head, hey, you want to stop by my gym real quick? And yeah, guys, this is kind of funny, but this is what happened. I went to the place I work. There's an unspoken requirement that we verify pull-up mechanics. I'm kind of telling myself I'm being smooth, right? She knows I train here already. Yeah, this is casual. It's cool. Here's a point. This was a full-blown competence audition disguised as flirting. So there I am at the gym with a few people in there, right? And funny enough, my manager there kind of noticed what I was doing, so he used to let me do my thing. Anyways, that aside, you guys, I'm like, all right, hop up. Let's see your pull-up form. Think about how insane that is. Somewhere in my nervous system, I was like, before intimacy, we must assess scapular engagement, as if bad pull-ups would have been a deal breaker. Funny story, right, you guys? Yeah, you can confirm this with my manager a long time ago, Marvin Wyatt. Yeah, anyways. That's exactly what ZenGasms is warning against. Not the gym, not the pull-ups, no. The need to do something because the tension felt too alive, right? I couldn't just stand there, calm, charged, letting her feel it. I had to resolve it. And the moment you resolve tension, you turn attraction into a task. Here's a punchline, you guys. She didn't really care about the pull-ups. No. She didn't need the demo either. What shifted the energy wasn't the gym. It was the moment I stopped trying to justify my presence. And that's the real lesson, brothers. The strongest moments I've ever had with women came when I did less, not more. When I didn't fill the space, when I didn't advance the scene, when I let silence stretch long enough that her nervous system leaned forward first. So if you ever feel the urge to explain yourself, escalate prematurely, or God forbid, test her pull-up form, pause for a second. It's honestly a bit of an escape attempt. Yeah, it's an escape attempt, okay? Contain the tension first. Don't turn attraction into a checklist. And for the love of God, stop coaching when nothing needs fixing, okay? So, again, I just roasted my younger self. All good, no worries. We learned from it. But guys, to be clear, she did end up being my girlfriend. Anyways, let's keep moving forward. Let me frame this properly, okay? Everything I teach around women follows a simple flow, okay? Especially if you have got my premium products, which, by the way, I'm about to roast my first ebook too, Become the Alpha Woman Want. I cover this 3-step formula: attraction, high status conversation, and escalation. 3 steps, right? And most men don't fail because they're bad at one of them. They fail because they rush the order. They go to escalation first. Bad plan, you guys. You start with attraction. Then you go into the banter, which is the highest status conversation. And then you go into escalation. It's time to go in a deeper dive on the 3-step formula. In this particular section, I'm going to be diving deep into the 3-step formula, okay? Here's what I want you to understand about this. When going through that document called ZenGasms, this does go through the pacing and leading formula more than what I thought. And that's why I really wanted to do a podcast on this document, okay? I want to frame this properly. Yes. Everything I teach around girls follows a simple flow: attraction, high status conversation, escalation. 3 simple steps. And most men don't fail because they're bad at one of them. They fail because they rush the order, okay? First point, attraction. ZenGasms lives here almost entirely. And this is where guys mess themselves up. Attraction is not about something you do. It's something you allow to build. The second you feel chemistry and immediately think, okay, what's my next move, right? You've already shifted from presence to performance. ZenGasms says this: don't escalate, don't push, don't fill the space. Let the tension sit, let it cook. Because unresolved tension is the only thing that actually creates pull. Most men don't lack confidence. They lack tension tolerance. Now, next step, okay? High status conversation. Here's where ZenGasms quietly shines and where most people misunderstand it. High status conversation is not about saying nothing forever. It's about speaking without needing the conversation to go anywhere. If you talk to keep the moment alive, you're already below the moment. You need to be high status, you guys. You need to show that you can keep the flow alive. Because this might sound a little bit annoying to a lot of you logical men out there, but good, high quality, high status conversations are not supposed to be in a linear format. That means this, you guys. Seduction is non-linear. It's all over the place. If you want to succeed with girls, you need to understand the flow of seduction. It is non-linear. It is not in some systematic form. So even though I laid out 3 steps, that doesn't mean it's going to go in your favor that you think it will. You need to be prepared for anything. You need to think off the cuff. You need to be willing to go with the flow. That means, you guys, don't stay logical the entire time. Anyways, the point is fewer words, slower pace, no explaining, no qualifying yourself either. You're not building rapport. No, you're setting tempo, okay? Pauses don't scare you either. Silence doesn't threaten you. And because you relax inside the space, she starts leaning in, okay? High stress conversations means you need to know how to flirt too, you guys. You need to know how to flirt. Anyways, next step here, okay, is escalation. Escalation. I have so many podcasts on escalation. Find 5 advanced cold reads. It's a very naughty one. I should be clear to you all. So be prepared. You need to be comfortable in your sex drive with some of my podcasts, because some of you hear my podcast and you're like, yo, dude, that's like, I don't know if I could do that. It's because you're not comfortable in your sex drive yet, okay? Get comfortable. Now, anyways, this is where ZenGasms goes even a little further, right? In the escalation part. Again, this is why I chose to do a podcast on this document. ZenGasms teaches men how to hold tension. What most men still need is learning when to move it. Escalation only works when attraction has already reached pressure. If you escalate to create attraction, you fail. If you escalate to release attraction, you win. I'll say that one more time. If you escalate to create attraction, you fail. If you escalate to release attraction, you win. Okay? Hope that makes sense, you guys. Now, escalation should feel calm, almost in a way, like a little boring, but don't misinterpret. Sometimes it can be fun if you push her against the wall, right? And you look down to her lips and then you tease her that you're not gonna kiss her, right? That's how I like to do escalation sometimes. But anyways, the point is this, you guys. Push and pull, really powerful stuff in escalation, okay? Again, notice what I said there, right? Push her against the wall, but then look down to her lips and say, I'm not gonna kiss you. Yeah, powerful stuff. Anyways, no rush, no nerves, no hope attached. The moment escalation feels urgent, you skipped a step, okay? Urgency kind of does matter, you guys, but it only matters when you really amp up your seductive presence, when you're like actually really about to have some fun with her. Does that make sense? Okay, good. Now, let's really wrap this bad boy up. If you want the real formula, contain yourself. Set the tempo, then lead third. Let's say that one more time. Contain yourself. Set the tempo second. Lead third. Attraction, high status conversation, escalation. Most men rush step 3 because they never learned how to sit in step 1. And if you ever feel the urge to explain yourself, push the moment, or turn chemistry into a checklist, that's not confidence. That's discomfort looking for relief. Guys, I'm going to do a quick intermission to tell you right now, because I really get into the content. I'm going to be including a great ceremony later, so keep listening. Don't blow out my analytics and skip any second of this podcast. Let's keep fucking going. This is my callback to that hilarious title document, ZenGasms. Okay, brothers. If ZenGasms made one thing clear, it's this. Attraction breaks the moment a man tries to force it forward. Most guys don't lack confidence, they lack restraint. They feel something real, and instead of holding it, they rush to convert it. That's why ZenGasms works for some men and completely stalls others. Because holding tension is only half of the skill. The other half is knowing how to pace, lead, and even imply the act of having some fun, but without killing the charge. That's why I wrote my very first dating key book called Become the Alpha Woman Wants. It's built for men who already feel the pull, but keep sabotaging themselves by talking too much, escalating too early, or trying to do something when doing less would work better. The book breaks down the exact flow I teach: attraction, high status conversation, escalation, in the correct order. It's calm, controlled, no chasing. But remember, brothers, seduction is nonlinear. It doesn't happen in some systematic form. Sometimes you have to jump back to attraction if the escalation hasn't been formally qualified, right? You need to qualify her before getting into high status conversations. Does that make sense? So qualify her first, then jump into high status conversations, right? Then qualify her after high status conversations that you get into the escalation process. Make sense? Good. Now, that's the point here, right? It doesn't just stop at theory. When you grab your copy, you also get 3 bonus ceremonies designed to lock this in at the identity level. Yes, it's your identity. Crown of Charisma to stabilize internal authority so you stop leaking need. The approach that makes her open is the next one. So attraction starts clean instead of forced. Then high status growth mindset ceremony to remove the scarcity loop that makes men rush moments. This is for the guy who already knows, I'm not far off, I just keep messing up the timing, right? If that's you, you'll know exactly why this book exists. Because of that reason alone, Become the Alpha Woman Want is now available on Gumroad. Link is in the description. No convincing, 0 hype. Either this corrects something you already feel or it doesn't. Let's start. The Adam Phenomenon. The Adam Phenomenon. Why she pretends not to notice you. The comedic skit. Ghosted you for your own good. written as the official Phase 3 comedic opener. So before we get into Phase 3, presence she doesn't mention, we need to address something really important. Me. More specifically, why women pretend they're immune to my presence, even though their body is glitching at like a 2008 MacBook. Look, every guy reading this has experienced this phenomenon. You walk into a room doing absolutely nothing, and suddenly a girl does that "I'm not looking at you, but I'm absolutely looking at you" move. You know that move, the flicker, that microsecond where her eyes betray her entire personality. She'll look away like this. Nope, I didn't see him, not at all. I'm strong, I'm independent, I don't need a man. I do not perceive attractive men. Meanwhile, her nervous system is filing a police report because your presence just committed emotional assault with a deadly vibe. And then, this is my favorite part right here. Oh yes, definitely is. After catching herself reacting, she goes home, opens her group chat, and says some Academy Award-winning lie. Like, I don't know what happened. My neck just twitched. Yeah, okay, sweetheart. Your neck twitched. Sure. Totally unrelated to the fact that I walked by radiating the calm confidence of a man who knows where the secret exit to life is. But here's where it gets funny. Women will literally ghost you for their own good. Not because you did something wrong, but because their body goes, nope, too much, uninstall him. And then their brain agrees like, yeah, honestly, this man is hazardous. Hit the eject button, they block you. Not out of anger, not out of standards, not because they're not ready, no. But because your presence was threatening to turn them into the kind of woman who makes bad decisions she'll remember fondly. And then, the moment you disappear, their subconscious starts writing emails to the universe like, hey, where did you go? Everything feels way too quiet. Bring back the emotional chaos machine. That, my friend, is the presence she doesn't mention. The kind of presence that she pretends not to feel while absolutely feeling it. Oh yeah, the kind that makes her scroll your page at 2 a.m. in the morning and then tell her best friend, don't judge me, I was just checking if you were still alive. Trust me, she wasn't just checking for your wellness. She was checking her symptoms. Phase 3 is about mastering that exact effect. Because once you understand presence she doesn't mention, you stop trying to impress women, and they start poorly trying to hide the fact that your existence is messing up their emotional Wi-Fi. Welcome to Phase 3. Let's begin.